Hi, my name is Alex, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to create your own custom coasters using a 3D printer. But first, let's talk if that's a good idea at all. So for smaller production volumes, like less than 50 pieces, it's probably okay, but still it's pretty expensive. Thinking that if you are to offer this as a cross-selling, as a value-added service for your customer, you have to bear in mind that, well, the costs are really high because, well, to print 4 of those, 2 color, they're flat and they are made of PETG, it takes around 2 hours and 70-ish grams of materials. I don't want to make it lighter because, well, it's still, well, something gonna go on top of it, and I want to have it some weight, so it's actually gonna be stable, right? So to be fair, if I was approached by a customer, I would also make sure that the customer is familiar with 3D printing and what kind of limitations it has in terms of resolutions and colors. So it won't be 100% his colors and won't be 100% the quality from the vector file. So if customer is not really happy with the quality of 3D printed products, then, well, there are different options like cutting veneer using a CNC and laser engraving it later, or perhaps printing on a ABS sheet, because you can also find them in 4mm thickness, right? So that's also an option. But if you're printing just a couple of pieces, well, what you really have to think about is design and material. I think that in this case, PLA is not the best choice because, well, I don't think PLA is good for functional prints at all. First of all, the temperature, 55 degrees Celsius, and if you are to serve hot drinks, well, they can melt, they can warp, and, well, that's just not very practical, right? But also they are just generally not very durable, as if they are exposed to direct sunlight, they can just warp. ASA, it's a good material, but I haven't had really good success printing coasters using ASA. Plus, the colors are very limited. So I think in this case, the PETG is the best in terms of, like, kind of, it prints fast, colors are, well, you have plenty of colors, they can be semi-transparent, they can be kind of transparent, right? But I think that, well, PETG works the best. And just in this case, I have them absolutely flat. Still, well, it's visible that it's 3D printed, right? But that's a Bambulab, black and red PETG, and I think it kind of works. So let me show you how I design and actually print this stuff. So as for my basic designs, I use Corel, and you can see this. This is the actual design that we're gonna work with, and ellipse is the actual frame of the coaster. And when you work with complex curves, make sure that, well, it's all uniform. This is the actual design of my customers. So this is their branding. Practical ellipse, you put all the graphics you want. It can be text, but the bigger, the better, okay? And what we do then is that we just go to export. We export as a DXF for AutoCAD. I work with Shaper. I like Shaper, so we're gonna just import the DXF into the Shaper. Well, regardless, it imported all of them. So we're just gonna leave what we actually need. In order to paint it using faces function in Bambu Studio, we need to extrude the faces at a different height. So I'm gonna show you it. So whatever is gonna be black, we're gonna leave it at 2.5 millimeters. And all those sections we're gonna extrude at 2.51 millimeter. So that difference, it's enough difference to kind of, for Bambu Studio to understand that those are different faces and simplify our painting. But at the same time, it's not gonna print an additional layer because we add that extra 100 of a millimeter. Yeah, so then we selected all, union. Yeah, so once we have all this, I think apart, we can add a little bit of fillet here in the edge. Good. Yeah, Then we go ahead and export it as a 3MF. Gonna keep the same. And then we import it to Bambu Studio. Make sure that in your device you have all the colors you want to use set up, right? So you can see here, so one is a base color. This is the base. So then we go to fill. We choose the red. Boom. It's painted. Yeah, so once we have it sliced, we can see how much material we're gonna use, how many times we're gonna change the filament, and how many hours it's gonna take us to print. So once we're done with the printing, take a coaster, take a torch, and go over it, removing all the small imperfections from the printing process. And I highly suggest you to apply 1 or 2 layers of clear coat. This will help to improve the longevity of the coaster, so it will serve you longer, but that will just generally seal the surface and kind of give that extra layer of protection. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in a comment below. If you want to learn how I make keychains or magnets or something else, also leave that in a comment. I will highly appreciate your feedback, and see you again.